This may be one in a series. How did this place get its name? April the 5th, 1935. Article in the Floyd County Times is where I got this idea from. And the name of the article is Odd Names Given to Creeks in Floyd County, survey says. The following letter was received from a former Floyd Countian who comments upon odd names given to creeks and localities in his native county. As most of the creeks and branches in Rennick County are well known, I am submitting a list of some of the odd names of the creeks in Floyd County and see how they compare with the names in this county, being Rennick County. I was raised in Floyd County and lived there all my life until we moved to this county about 8 years ago. I have played and traveled over all these creeks and know them like a book. There are no fictitious names on the list, as any Floyd Countian will tell you. We will begin with Katie Friend Branch. Just over the hill is Bull Creek, then Cow Creek, Calf Creek, and Heifer Creek. I have hunted coons and possums on all these creeks many a dark night. Then we have Goose Creek, Gosling Fork, and Turkey Creek, and then there are Buzzards Roost, Pigeons Roost. Those are all the creeks I remember now that are named after fowls. On Turkey Creek is a place called Turkey Pen, so called because many of the turkeys which used to be captured there. The people built a large pen or a trap in which to catch wild turkeys. They toiled them into a pen by strewing grain along the ground and led them into the trap or pen. They could not get out, so hundreds of wild turkeys were caught there. Then there is Holly Bush, Buckeye, Brush Creek, Beachy, and Plum Fork. Most of these creeks got their names from the extensive growth of certain timber or shrubbery in that section. For instance, Holly Bush is fairly lined on both sides of the creek with holly. Laurel and holly used to fairly cover the mountains there. Plum Fork was a dense mat of wild plum growing everywhere. Beachy was a dense forest of heavy beech timber. And so it goes. Each creek is named for something it was once noted for. I do not know the particular origin of some of these creeks, although I was born and grew up among them. Next we have Salt Lick, Lick Fork, both getting their names from the huge salt rocks where cattle gathered to lick salt in the olden days, when cattle ran free range in the mountains. Then there is a list of creeks such as Jones Fork, Jenny's Creek, Peters Creek, Wiley's Branch. Most of these creeks were named after the first settlers who came there. Then we find Punchin, Wildcat, Rough and Tough. Wildcat got its name from the many wildcats that once denned in that place. Bear Creek was once a dreaded locality for black grizzly bears. People were afraid to go through this part of Floyd County without a rifle on account of these animals. I have heard many a thrilling bear tales repeated on Bear Creek. Some of the finest timber I have ever seen grows on these creeks, but how ruthlessly it is cut down and destroyed. Many a giant birch tree I have seen chopped to the ground by thoughtless boys, only to peel the bark for the juicy birch sap and eat all we wanted. I say we because I was often one of the group, and we thought nothing of cutting and thought nothing about cutting down fine chestnut trees and leaving them on the ground to rot, merely to obtain a bushel of chestnuts. If a squirrel or coon climbed to the top of some fine tree and was hard to get out, we just chopped it down and left it to rot. We thought nothing about the destruction, because we were raised that way. No one gave any heed to destruction of timber. It grew in abundance everywhere, and its value was not appreciated. I hope the people have awakened to the fact that these trees are valuable, and do not destroy them as ruthlessly as they did a few years ago. I certainly have learned better myself. I now think twice before I fall a tree. They are easy to fall, but oh, so hard to replace, and a hillside devoid of these trees is desolate indeed. Written by M. K. Wright of the Greenup News. Beaver Creek, left and right, is what you refer to around here. Where are you from? Over on Right Beaver, people would say. Left Beaver Creek in Floyd County, Kentucky, likely got its name from being the western or left branch of the Beaver Creek system, when viewed from upstream or by settlers navigating the area, with beaver likely referencing abundant beaver populations or their dams, a common naming convention for Appalachian streams, though specific historical accounts of the exact naming are sparse. The main Floyd County was named for surveyor Colonel John Floyd, an early explorer who surveyed land claims for Revolutionary War veterans in the 1770s. County naming, established in 1799/1800. Floyd County honors John Floyd, a prominent Virginia surveyor and explorer in Kentucky. Geography. The county sits in eastern Kentucky, defined by its mountainous terrain and the Big Sandy River system, including tributaries like Beaver Creek. Check out Kentucky Place Names, a book by Robert Rennick. You can get it online, maybe at your local library. There's an excerpt I want to read to you from the book. It's about Paintsville in Johnson County. This fourth-class city and seat of Johnson County extends over a mile along the broad bottoms of Paint Creek, from its junction with the Leviza Fork of the Big Sandy River. Henry Dixon, a North Carolina-born preacher and farmer, laid out the town on the site of Paint Lick Station, a trading post of uncertain origin. In the same year, the town became the seat of newly established Johnson County. The name Paintsville, which may have been derived by Dixon from the station or the creek as early as 1826, refers to the red and black painted figures of animals and birds found by early hunters on the trunks of many large trees along the creek. Painted trees found in the vicinity of briny springs, which attracted game animals, led to the licks being designated by hunters as Painted Licks, and the stream as Paint Lick Creek.